Hello, hello, and welcome back to yet another fun and exciting addition to our camping routine. Code camping routine, that's a new thing. So today we just gonna have a quick one and try and get our drum machine set up the way that I would like it to be working. Hopefully we can get it working. Okay, so this was our drum machine. I was looking at list and keys. Okay, so what was our old layout? Every third element we need to wrap it in a drum pad set class. How are we gonna get that working? This is gonna be interesting. We just need buttons every time, right? Oh man. Where do we start with this? Okay, so we're not gonna have a function. We need our array. So we got drums. We're gonna map it. Just call it item. And if I did item, which should be drums. What if I did item.key? And then console.log buttons. Just want to see. I think it's the array that we're returning, aren't we? Yeah. If I had buttons, so that's drums dot map. Yeah, it doesn't work that way, but the function does work. Turn this dot render drums. Could just be something like this. And that's drum set. We should be rendering drum set somewhere down there, yeah. See what that does for us. Here's the downside now. we're rendering literal text instead of actually rendering the components. Deal with that. String. Need a drum. Let's do a test here. Drums.map. With. That's an array. The undefined, why? What if I do L0? We have key, right? And if I did L.id, it's undefined. Okay. So when we map that, map again. Make sure. What is the first thing that's returned? Because we tried that last time. It's the current value. I just want to try React's examples so that I actually understand this. See what list items gives us. Alright, because it's React. The only problem with this now is we can't really tell which is the property on it, because CodePen also uses React. It's like kind of messing things up for us. You know, because how do we actually see it? What's the console say though? Type of? Type list item. So that's the array. Same as our array, but then we have an object. That's for every single item. We needed to do it for every single object. That's what the issue is. Yes, apparently we can do the array.map the object, and then you have to apparently wrap it in that for some reason. Okay, let's try this out now. There we go. So if I wanted ID, I would have ID like that. Oh, it should just be as easy as going drum.id, as we were doing. And this other thing worked earlier, so let's try it. Let's just do a single one-liner to see what happens. So test 2. Let's see what happens. Might be invalid, might work. Who knows, there's only really one way to try, right? Wow, nothing even happened. Yeah, it's an error. Probably I needed to physically maybe we should just try return ID out of this. Like this. Is this still an issue though? Why? Alright. This should probably be... Okay, so we got that. Get undefined for this. Yeah, still undefined. Okay, fine. I'm not gonna do it that way. The object one seems to work. We have ID. What else do we have? We have ID and we have key, right? Let's see if this will work. I hope this works. Beautiful. That actually is going to work the way I want it to work now. Because then we should be able to do, for example, test.id. When I want to render, I'm gonna remove this as well. That. And that's a function though. Well, actually, no. This doesn't have to be... Doesn't have to be in a function at all. Do I need it inside of the constructor? Why can't I have it? I'm pretty sure I had it before. In a variable, didn't I? Thinking and React is like so different. Wow. Well, you can have it in the render. You can have it in the render. Okay. Now if I have it in the render, I should be able to button, right? ID equal to test.id. If that works. There's a button there, that's for sure. But no ID, no nothing. Test.id, shouldn't that be? You don't need this, should I? Done. Okay. Try anything right now. Yeah, no, we wouldn't. Huh. So we have button ID equal to test. And if I just did test, I might have to do this in the function now. There it is. So it's there for each one, but why when I go the object.id it doesn't work? So test.id, why wouldn't that work then? Why isn't that valid? You would think you go test.id, because here if I go console, if I go log test.id, I think I should. Did we test that? Oh, we get undefined. Interesting, why? What's going on? What is the return value? It's an array. Oh. I did test. So if I did test 0, what would we get? Okay. So it's indexed. And then I go .id. I get the ID then. Yes. Okay. Now I understand. But if it's like that, I just feel like we're back to where we started. We're just creating an array. Render. Apparently the new way to do it is wrap it in the array, so drums. Make sure I've got that right. I do. So new to me. So we wrap it in a div, and then drums dot map elements again. Then we would have button. We had ID before, didn't we? ID equal to element dot ID. We're just going to try that. And then we need to close the div off, which we already have. We're not going to have that. What? This is not part of anything. This is just somewhere here. Wherever we render this. Let me... the buttons. So if I wanted to render it, then instead of drum set, I would literally have those buttons, right? It was? Yeah, buttons. Wait, you have to do drums? Like that? Let's see what happens. We don't get any buttons, no. Where are all the buttons? Because of that. Should just be able to do this, shouldn't we? Do buttons. No? Let's try drum set again. Let's go back to drum set. And we're gonna try buttons in our render. So that we return buttons and see what happens. We're getting the same. Oh, that's really annoying that we get nothing. Why wouldn't it be though? The drums is the... Hold on. The modern JSX, you don't need div or anything. We got drums dot map element button ID equal to element dot ID. And we've got that closed off. Apparently we might need the key though. And have it the same as the element.id. It still doesn't render anything. Oh man, I feel I'm getting more and more lost. Yesterday I read through these things and the different things work, but when we're trying to iterate through objects, it ends up being just completely different. And that's the most annoying part over here. So we got button. This is drum set. for each worked. I need to go practice on map, I think, because every time that I've used map I failed. For each I feel so comfortable with. Hey Virani. I'm trying to render the buttons, but now they're not rendering at all. See, I had it working fine before, but there was just a lot of repetition. I was rendering them like this. I would just take the array and change the index each time. 0, 1, 2, then create a break. 3, 4, 5, break, 6, 7, 8, right? That worked, but there was just so much code. I wanted a dynamic way where I could somehow just have the 0 iterate on a single line. You know, like do a return, and apparently map could do that. But it works for single arrays, but the problem is I have an array with objects in it. And I tried several different things. The latest thing was, I don't even know what this is, but apparently you can do it this way, but when I return the buttons, variable, then it doesn't render anything at all. And this is in a class. So I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. That's what happens when I try to do things in different ways. 8 to 25, yeah, I see that. Oh, so I add the index to it. Let's see, let's try it. But I don't have that in a... So that's not in a class or anything. That's interesting. I'll try it. I don't need it in a class. Is it just like in a variable by itself? How is it possible that a constant can have constants inside of it? Or am I just looking at that weirdly? Like your popular list seems to have a show list inside of it. Is that React? It's a functional component. Oh. And it's importing shows on page and page, but where does it find those? I don't see those. So let's try. This is my drums. I need key, ID, and source. So what I do... What would I even name this? I'm just gonna name it test, right? Till I figure out what I'm doing. And then would I add in key, ID, source, maybe? Does it know? Because you need to pass that in, don't you, at some point, when you call popular list. Yeah, you do, later on. You say shows proptypes.array of proptypes.object is required on page. But I don't see where you call it there, that's the problem. Hey man.
Hey man, what's up?
Man, I'm so lost with React right now.
Sorry. For some reason?
What?
Yeah, I can.
I want to go back to the good old days where
Wait a
JavaScript
second,
functions
sorry, I
worked.
can't hear you. Just one moment, I need to fix this.
Okay.
Alright.
You can hear me?
So hey,
Hey. Yeah, I was like saying I miss the good old days of JavaScript functions.
so basically, it's a functional stateless component from React, and all those shows on page and page. These are just destructurized props. So this is
Do I
props.
need to pass anything into the function? Can I just have it empty? So like const test?
Yeah. It would be just prop. You can props. You can pass props.
Props
if
to it?
you need props. Yeah, just.
I don't think I will. I've never used props before. Should I put it in anyway, or
Yeah.
would it be this dot props, right?
No.
No, just props?
It's not an object. It's a function.
Right.
So basically, it's just like a function, and you can return JSX, and this will be your component. So basically, if you have a look at my example, on line 27, I return a div with shows list. So basically, I return a div and array.
Yeah, but how do you map shows.map if you pass in shows, but how do I pass? I need to access drums. You see I have a constant called drums? You see my stream?
Yeah, it's just small delay. So basically you have an array, it's all good. You need to, you have everything in one document. It's so awkward.
I know, eventually I'll work on that. It's just for CodePen, I can't split them.
Alright, so do you want to render all those components like one component, or...
Yeah, so what I need is, it looks like this. It'll be a button, and then I need to access the array and get the ID from that object, and I need to also get, for the audio element, I need to get the ID again from that array, and I need to get the source from that array.
Yeah.
So
where do they come from?
The information from the drums array. Everything's in the drums array. Yeah.
All right. Just give me a moment. So you can have. Yeah. All right. So show me the component, please. So your drum set or.
Hey Jikochi, the drum set. Which component?
Yeah. I mean the component itself, which class, drum set, extends, whatever.
There's like not much right now because I've been testing. The drum set is empty, so might as well not show you that. I had the drum machine.
What would be rendered? Show me the thing which would be rendered.
Yeah, over here. So it will have a drum pad container, and then inside of it I would render drum set. And drum set.
Drum set. So you rendered drum set. Alright, so we need to figure out what to put in drum set. Right. So in drum set we have so basically we have a button and an audio.
Right.
Right? So
this is what it needs to look like. I'm gonna put it in the render so that you could see. This is what we need to render. 3 things from our object. The ID of the button.
All the same, right?
Yeah, they're all the same except for the ID, the key. Oh, this has to change. Sorry. And don't worry, that says sounds. This should actually be drums. So let me just change that, because at some point it was sounds, but then I decided one object that handles everything of the drums is better. Okay, so this is what it needs to render. I want to only do this once, and then it changes for every single item in the array.
Alright, so let's make it like this. So in your render, just before your return, you can just create an array with map, just like I did in my example. So you can just like const drums something.
Do I have to create it again? Because I already have a drums constant.
Yeah, we can just iterate over it with map.
Okay, so drum, like, I don't know what to call it. Drum in.
Drum list. Let's make a drum list for now. You
Okay.
can figure out later.
Yeah. So drum list equal to drums.map, and then we need.
Yeah, drums.map, and we have like.
We just call it drum and index.
We don't really need. We may need index. Let's leave it like this. Sorry. Yeah, put the braces around them. Drum and index. They should be inside of.
Oh yeah. Always forget about those. Hey, when there's two. There we go.
Yeah. So, and there you can do whatever it is you need to do, and you can just return JSX. So you can just return the div.
Do I have to put it in JSX, like in the bracket, in the curly brace?
No. Wait. So you need to have a drums ID, a drum ID, and key.
Yeah. So can I do drum.id?
Drums thing, please.
Okay. There.
It's
It's an object array with objects in it.
Just a second. So it has key ID and source. Key ID and source. All right. So one drum is our object.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right. So you can just put drum.key, drum.id, and that's it. Mostly.
Okay, so drum.id, and then wait, what I got confused with, can I have like multiple lines in like
you need to wrap it with div, for instance.
So can you see what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, just with
when there's a delay. Yeah.
Yeah, technically I think this could work.
I hope so, because I tried it
This
and
could work. And you need to return it. You need to return it, not just write it down.
Right, but I have to wrap it in a div. But is it going to actually render as a div? Because I don't want it to render as a div. Wait, no, it shouldn't. It's a button.
Yes, it's button, and
yeah.
It should be in brackets, and it should be returned.
Okay, so wait, return right by the first line. Like this?
Yeah, return, open brackets and close brackets. All right, and now you return. Now you close this map function.
Right.
So where is it? All right, and you don't return buttons. You return. You return a div with. And you need them separate. Well, wait. Let's think about it later. So you return on line 108. You return. Let's make it a div. Just a div.
Okay, so 108 return a. You mean a div?
Yeah, a div, and put drum list in curly braces as the contents of the div.
Okay, but do I need a return here? Is this correct on line 97?
Yes, on line 97 you return
to 100
from map. You return from map. You make a new array. You make a new array called drum list.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, is it correct like that? From 97 to 100. I open the bracket and I close it on 100. Because there's multiple lines.
They're usually separated. So like.
What would I have to do?
Return a bracket, press enter, so new line, and all of this.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, and usually they do it with divs, so I think it should work with button since it's only one tag.
Yeah, it's one. Yeah.
So I think this.
Why can't we return drum list, by the way, instead of divs? Why can't we just return drum list? Because it will be a single element.
Because it's an array, and we need to return something to render. You know.
Oh, okay. So we should technically get something now.
I think yes.
Okay, so I could go try it. Let me see if I share my screen with you, then there'll be no delay for you compared to the stream. Let's see. Can you see this?
Yes, I can see.
So we get an error on line 57.
Yeah, because it was a test. You just removed.
Oh, right. So I need to change window.
And honestly, I'm a little bit terrified to look at your code since it has had event listener for some reason when you're using React. Why on earth
Event
would you
listener?
do that? Yeah, you had some event
Did I?
listeners. Like, yeah, like component will mount document add event listener or something.
That's weird. Oh, I think I know
you
what
had
you,
it
I
somewhere.
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here. Is there a better way? Because I needed to check when a key is pressed.
Well, I don't know. Let's think about
Yeah.
it later.
Yeah.
Let's just figure out with our
Okay,
render.
so I need to remove whatever stuff I created. So this, remove that, right?
I think that's it.
That was the error. Cool. Yeah, that's working. Let me just share my screen again. I have to keep changing it. For you, there you go. So the only issue now is, remember I told you I
it
need
renders.
them. Yeah, it renders.
Yeah. Well, at least it's being rendered already.
Yeah, it's
So,
first step. But let's see. So it has an ID. At least that's correct. Inside of it, there's a span.
This whole div is what. So all these buttons is our array, which we get from mapping. And
Yes. Okay.
it's just
So it has to be. What if I didn't put a div there? What would have happened? Wouldn't it just render the buttons directly to the drumpad container?
I think no.
Should we try?
I'm not really sure, honestly, but I think no, because you have to return JSX, and it's not JSX technically, but it could be since it's just an array of HTML elements.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't work. I get the invariant violation. No, we have been violated. So what would you normally put there if it's not a div? Could that be like my class?
Div.
Right.
You usually put div.
Because you see it's in a drumpad container. Okay, so here's the thing. This is working, but how do I get it to? I need 3 per line. Because right now it's gonna. This was the issue I was telling you. So we can get it to work, but now it's gonna just render them at the end. I have a class for that will do it. Let me show you. If I change, what was the class name? It was drum container.
Can you do it with CSS?
Potentially. I just have to apply the right one. Let me see. It was. Wait, I had it here. Man, I hate working in CodePen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a drumpad set. There it is. So if we go to, you're gonna see this in a bit of a delay. But if I give the class name on that div we return as drumpad set, that'll give us the CSS we need.
It should.
But the only issue now is it's because of the flexbox, it renders them all, as you can see in one line. I could add wrap, but then I would rely on the width of the container, and I'm a bit worried about doing it with CSS, to be honest. Like, if I can do it in another way, that would be better. Because what I did, so drumpad set specifically will allow 3 on a line, right? Then what I would do is render 1, 2, 3, then close the div, then open a new div. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. If there's a way we can return it like that, otherwise, I guess we could calculate, but yeah. When we think of a way, like if we if we knew the iteration count, there was something I wanted to do like modulus. If it was modulo 3 or divisible by 3, I'm not sure. Or if we have ID or index, right? What if we checked every index? Every third one? Yeah, that's not really thinking React, would it be, if we did an if inside of there?
Well, you can do things like this.
Or do you think I should try it with
another-
CSS? Because we would have to set the container width to, let's say, the amount of 3 of theirs in their width, and then anything extra would obviously overflow to the next line, I assume.
Yeah.
But that still won't put them in their own container, which is what I wanted. The drum pad set, so 3. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, drum pad set, 1, 2, 3, drum pad set.
Yeah, the point is that when we are rendering, we are basically iterating over the whole array, and we can't just split it. I think technically somehow we can using break and continue, but it's for off or something.
And we can't have an if inside of here. If index is 3, then...
We can.
Can we? So can I do like if index is like 0, because that'll be the first one where it needs to start. Then...
I can't see your screen, sorry.
Oh, right, you can't. It's on the stream. Hold on, let me change Windows.
I think it's gonna
Can I
be
do something like
easier
this?
if I just look.
Then I'll render the div. What was the class name? Drum. You know what I mean? Would that work? And then inside of there we would have the buttons. Hold on.
You'll
need to
have
close
only
this.
one button. It will
Oh.
be, in this case, you're returning inside of map. So for each button, it will
Oh,
be a separate div.
so how would we do this? Oh, actually I could just start it with a div, right? Will they be inside? Oh, they won't be inside of that div though. We'll just have an empty div.
Yeah, but you can. Oh man.
Why do I always get the complicated stuff? Well, maybe we should re-look at it. Yeah?
No. It wouldn't work. That's pretty interesting, actually.
It seems at the end of the day, the more verbose code that I had here, it looks like the easiest option. It works. Now I'm like trying to reinvent the wheel by making it neater. It's like I need to continue, so render the first button. And the second and the third, but yeah.
I'm trying to think of some way of like iterating and creating 3
Wait.
sentences.
Can I do this? Where if the index is 0, open the div, right? Without a closing div. And then if the index is 4, close the div. Because then it would still have the buttons inside of them, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean, but I'm not sure.
Can you not use if? Why is it saying passing error?
You can, because line 93 you need to use curly braces. Because return and just...
Oh, do you mean JSX? I mean not JSX, curly brace like that, right?
Yeah,
that one?
line 93. So, do you know
There.
the difference when returning when using return with curly braces or just brackets?
No.
So return, yeah, it usually works. Oh, I'm being stupid. Sorry, I'm being stupid. You can't return curly braces. It would be an object.
Yeah.
You can do it before return. You can make all the calculations before return.
And then just return.
And just return whatever you want.
Right.
It's just it wouldn't really work because for every iteration it would be like this. So one way to do this, it would be a horrible way, I think, is just to create an array and just push those button elements into this array with every and separate them, like so 1 2 3 and a separate div is pushed. 1 2 3 and separate div is pushed. This would be terrible, I think, but it would work.
Can I send you something? I actually need to go now. I just realized the time. But before I go, here's the original solution, but I don't want to use that because obviously I need to try and do it in the way that I understand, but that's how they achieved it. Do you see anything there that I could use?
Just a second. Let me look at it. So they have bank.
Bank would be like my drums, like the array that houses everything.
They have 2 banks.
Yeah, that's just to change the sounds, but just see it as one array.
Yeah, they have CSS and JS. They have handle press.
The main thing is down there. They have they do some weird stuff with props from line 183. Do you see what they're doing there?
So on line 167 they return a div which contains audio.
Yeah, kind of the stuff that I need. The class name, this and that. I don't want to copy this, I just want to understand why mine isn't working.
Yeah, they have...
But yeah,
so
Pirani, I'm gonna...
Yeah, sure.
I have to like run now, but I'm gonna be back later. But I really want to figure this out. I don't want to move from it because clearly this is a part where I'm now struggling, and I want to understand how I can dynamically populate elements. If you figure like anything out there, you can point me in the right direction. Because I looked at lists and keys, and it works for single arrays, but I don't know why with an object it's weird.
When you need to do something like this, you always use map. So they use map here, but it's just we need to create something
right
a little bit more advanced. So
all right, well, hopefully I'll message you a bit later, but if you're like around and stuff, or if you figure anything else, feel free to let me know. But yeah, and I'm also probably gonna look back at your documentation.
All right,
thanks, Ronnie. You're the best. Take care.
Okay, see ya.
Alright guys, well, we'll be back later. I'm gonna have to sit down and figure out what's going on here. But yeah, until then, bye for now.